Hello and welcome back to episode 4 of the Jacation Podcast. Today we'll be talking about our dream vacation spot and our several trips to the city of Chicago. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Jacob and this is my co-host slash co-star.
Hi, I'm Jane.
Yep. All right.
Sorry. I never know what to say there. It's so embarrassing.
It's okay. It's all right.
I don't know.
We'll get it figured out.
You pause and then I'm like, oh.
Yeah. We'll get it figured out eventually.
All right.
It may take a very long time, but
I know. Until then, everyone can just wait.
That's right. So we just want to remind you that you should subscribe to us on YouTube. We have an Instagram account at Jacation_adventure, at Twitter at Jacation Travel, and we have Facebook now.
Yay.
Yay. So if you're just on Facebook, we're on there now, and we'd be happy to hear from you. Like our page. I'm going to be doing a little podcast community, so hopefully we can connect to some of you. And you can ask questions, and yeah, it'll be yeah. This is news to you too,
I know.
I guess.
It's always news. Most things are news to me. It's okay.
So yeah, reach out if you have questions, and I'll be putting that up there soon. Also visit our blog at www.jacation.club, CLUB, and share with your friends. So it really helps us out. So I thought we'd start with an opening segment. Let's talk about our dream vacation spot. Now, do you want to go first or should I?
No, I guess you should, because I don't know where you're talking about.
Okay, well, my dream vacation spot is, of course, a national park, and it's Lassen Volcanic National Park in Northern California, which barely anybody visits, which, well, there you go. There's a plus.
Right.
And they have Lassen Peak, which is beautiful. Kind of looks like Mount Rainier a little bit. And they have thermal areas like they do in Yellowstone, and I love Yellowstone, so it's just like a place that's not visited. It's like Yellowstone, and it has pretty mountains, so I'd be good with that.
Well, that's kind of cool because that's like a very attainable vacation.
Yes.
I mean, okay, I thought you were gonna, I've heard you talk about Lassen before, and it does look pretty cool. I thought you were gonna surprise me with something that's a little, I don't know.
No, it's just, my out of reach one would probably be Zermatt, Switzerland,
All right. That's actually what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah, the Matterhorn and
Yeah. Okay. So we're doing that? So we're doing like a close in one and then a far away one?
Why not? If you've got a couple. So, go ahead, share yours.
Well, I really want to go to Iceland. I don't know why, honestly, because it's probably cold. Oh, it's all in the name, Iceland. But I don't know. It just, anytime I see pictures of it, and a few years ago, it was like Icelandic Air started flying out of KCI, which I don't even know if they still do that, but I was like, oh, wow, that'd be super cool. And then they would advertise a lot, and they'd have all these pictures, and it just looked beautiful. And I thought, now that looks...
And it's just like a 5-hour flight, which isn't bad at all.
What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Or 5 to 6 hours, I think is what it was when that came out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
See, I didn't even know these things. I just thought, well, that would be a fun place to visit. So that was kind of my far away one. Well, now I haven't really thought about what a closer one would be.
Well, you don't really need one. You can if you want.
No, but I suggested that after you said yours, and I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know. I'd like to go back to, well, like I think I'd like to go to Redwood. If we're going to do like a national park, if that's what we're picking from. back there. But oh yeah, okay. No. There. Oh my gosh, this is going to be embarrassing when someone listens to it. But then if anyone who knows me is going to be like, well, that's exactly how she talks. So, oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of it now. It's in Canada. What's that place I'm always talking about?
Banff?
Lake Louise. Banff. Hello.
Yeah,
yes,
Banff, and there's that provincial park up there that I can't remember the name. That it's and
right.
Jasper.
So
yeah, that's awesome.
So Canadian Rockies would be nice. Yeah, I can pronounce those words. So yeah, okay, that would be a closer thing. So I think that's doable. I would also like to go to Alaska.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Anyway. So, well, let's get into it. Now let's talk about this is my favorite city to visit. Probably
mine
yours
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about the city of Chicago, which is a place I've been 4 times. You've probably been 5 or 6.
I don't know, a lot more than that probably even, but yeah.
Oh yeah, because Dad used to,
Yeah, my husband actually went to pharmacy school there, so I've been there a few times with him. I've been there as a kid. I've been there other times too. But with Jacob, so if he's been there 4 times, then those 4 times that he's been, I've taken him there.
Yes.
Or we've gone we've gone a few different times. We can
so that plus how many ever times you've been with friends and stuff.
Right. So, but that I don't even know. That's okay. But yes, so it is probably our most visited city as far as
Omaha would probably be.
Well, okay, so big city where we go on our own, that we do numerous things and not just the zoo.
That's right.
Or whatever. So as far as big cities, this is where we go.
Okay, so let's talk about getting there. Now, of course, you could drive, which,
we did that one time.
Yes, I mean, we were driving back, but,
right.
There's so many ways to come into Chicago. Many interstates meet there that I'm not going to tell you how to get there. Look it up. But if you're going to fly there, you have a couple of options. So there's Chicago O'Hare and there's Chicago Midway. Now, Chicago Midway is Southwest only, pretty much. And
from here anyway.
Well, they don't. Southwest doesn't even fly into O'Hare.
No, I'm just okay. I just meant maybe if people don't live in Kansas City and they go from somewhere else, then other airlines would fly in there.
Chicago is kind of like a Southwest hub, like Dallas is. They have a lot of flights.
Oh, okay.
Directly to there. So, and then everybody else is in O'Hare. So United, American, all the other big Delta, all the other big names are more than likely going to fly into O'Hare. And we've been to both of them. I like Midway better, obviously, just for its convenience.
Yeah.
Like it's not.
Midway's kind of a hole, but
it is
convenient.
Yeah.
But it's convenient in the way that how we do Chicago, which is always fly in and then take the train downtown. You can do it from both. You can do it from both airports. However, it's just much closer from Midway.
That's right. And if you're going to fly in, you don't really need a rental car. I mean, if you're just going to be in the downtown area, you don't need one. It's very walkable. And if it's, if you don't want to walk that far, get on an L train and, let's talk about that, because transportation, I feel, is pretty easy.
Oh, definitely.
In the city with the L, which is the elevated trains. And there's a couple of subway lines, but I mean, they're all part of the same system. So from Chicago O'Hare, you can go on the blue line into downtown, and from Midway, it's the orange line. And the blue line happens to be one of the subway lines, so it doesn't go through what's called the Chicago Loop, which is where many of the lines meet at downtown that go out to the suburbs. And so, I mean, that's a little different, but they're all going to get you pretty much to the same spot.
Right. You can
Either way you
transfer.
take. Yeah, exactly. And you can transfer lines. It's super easy and convenient and cheap.
Yes. Super cheap.
I mean, I don't remember what it was, but it was less than $10, I think, to get us around the city for a couple
Right.
of days.
So what we have done is buy like a 3-day pass.
Mm-hmm.
And you could kind of just figure if you're going to do mostly walking and you don't think you need a 3-day pass, that would be like a unlimited travel. I go ahead and buy one anyway, just because it's kind of nice if you're out and then you're just tired and you think, oh, I just don't want to walk any farther. I
Or
mean,
it starts raining or something.
right, we've even gotten on the train and just ridden it like one stop just to get us a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Due to rain or just general tiredness. So I would always go, and then in both airports, there's a little kiosk where uh, you can buy your train tickets, and then you'll just say how many tickets you need for how many days. It takes credit cards. So you can just go ahead, and that's what we've always done, is just gone to the kiosk, bought the train tickets for how many ever days we're going to be there, and then just have them. Because that's just the most convenient way. Then you don't have to worry about, oh, each time I get on the train, I have to have the correct change, or I've got to have this amount of cash. Or you've just got it. You scan the card every time you go through.
Just walk
Very,
through.
very
Oh, yeah.
simple. Mm-hmm.
So, and the airports, you're not going to be waiting long for a train either,
No.
because they're the endpoints of these lines. So it's like there's always going to be a train that's, going to be ready to depart pretty soon. So
Uh-huh.
it's just a quick and easy way to do it. I wouldn't even bother trying to rent a car.
No, I don't think I've ever rented a car in Chicago, in
I mean, we've
fact.
driven through it with our own car just because we were on a road trip and that was our last stop, but
Right. But otherwise
but
I
we rode
wouldn't.
the subway in anyway. So,
Yeah, we did. Even when we had our own car, we just parked it and did the
yeah.
subway.
Okay,
Okay.
so let's start talking about uh hotels. We've
Okay.
stayed at a few. So let's start at the one at Chicago O'Hare, which is a Hampton Inn.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my gosh, I love this hotel.
It's
They have
actually
the
one of
best
the.
showers I have seen in a
Oh,
hotel. It
yeah.
was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome.
There's more than one. That's the thing about there's a couple of Hampton Inns at
This one's
O'Hare.
Rosemont.
Yeah, this one. So if you're looking between the two, make sure that you pick the one that's Rosemont. I mean, I don't know how new it is, but it's very nice, new, seemingly new,
Uh-huh.
clean. It's in an area where you can walk to a few restaurants. There's a Giordano's Pizza right across the street which is a famous Chicago pizza
And we'll
place.
talk about that later.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got lots of good food to eat. Well, and if you're a plane spotter, I like to watch planes and stuff. And Chicago, it's right near Chicago O'Hare. They're not very loud, but
Mhm.
it's kind of fun to watch. I get my radar thing out and you can see, this plane's coming from San Francisco or London. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, I guess.
And to see the big planes that we don't see.
If you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah, we get to see the big planes that we don't see in Kansas City that, they don't
Mhm.
come here. So,
Right. Yeah.
moving on, the one in downtown, another Hampton Inn. This one
Uh-huh.
is the Theater District,
Mhm.
kind of near Willis Tower. I like this hotel too. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, we've stayed here twice.
Yep.
Jacob and I have. So we've stayed at that the Rosemont O'Hare one a couple times, and then we've also stayed twice at this downtown Hampton Inn, like Jacob said, the theater district. It's in the same building as the CIBC theater. Most recently, it was the home to Hamilton in Chicago. Prior to that, Book of Mormon played there. So it's brought in a lot of big name shows. And we've stayed there twice. Both times it's been great. Kind of an interesting place. You walk in at ground level and then you go up the elevator to check in. So like the hotel itself starts on, I don't even know, it might be the second floor. It might even be like a third floor. But you know, it's a great location and very affordable. It's a good place. Jacob had asked me to talk about any other places I'd stayed there. I did one time stay at the Hotel Palomar, which is part of the Kimpton Hotel Group. And when I stayed at there, it was a really nice place. And I believe it had just opened. So they had some really good specials as far as like just being open and trying to get their name out there, even though there are other Kimpton hotels in Chicago. It was also a good location. It was on State Street. Nice place, had like a happy hour, down in the lobby, but they also had like a rooftop pool and stuff. It was nice, but I've looked at it other times since then. The price has gone up quite a bit since I stayed there the first time. Also, I mean, we always talk about Hampton Inns, and I'm a Hilton Honors member, so we usually stick with Hiltons anyway. But if you're looking for someplace more of a boutique hotel, I would definitely say the Palomar is a good place to stay. Especially as far as shopping, being located on State Street. And I can't remember like the cross street of it, honestly, but it was also in a good location, further from the lake, but it's still a good place. Anyway.
And I just want to go back and mention the Hampton Inn and the theater district the noise can be a little loud from the streets below, but I mean, that's kind of expected. I mean, you're in a big city, of course. That's not.
Yeah.
So
I never found that to be a problem.
It's not been a problem. It's just something to note.
Right. I think that's just downtown Chicago. It's loud.
It is. It's a loud place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is one of the towers. You know, you and I love the tall towers.
We do.
So
we're the only people who really do in our family, I think.
Yeah, so that's what we do. And so let's talk about Willis Tower first, which is right nearby the Hilton Hotel, or the Hampton Inn, the theater district.
Mm-hmm.
It's a couple blocks away. Now, this is the tallest building in the world for over 20 years, I think.
It used to be the Sears Tower, so yes. That's what more people know it as.
Yes, that's right. Chicagoans don't really call it the Willis Tower; they call it the Sears Tower, mm-hmm. which are the original owners and builders of that building. So, something unique that this tower has is called the Skybox, and we'll get to that in a minute, but it's really cool. So mm-hmm. we went early in the morning to this on the trip that it was just you and I.
Uh-huh.
And this place can get pretty busy, so we for sure recommend going in the morning.
Yes.
Because there was very few people up on the tower and in the line. We didn't have to wait forever.
Mm-hmm.
In fact,
and you can buy tickets. You could buy tickets in advance and kind of pick a time.
Yes.
It would also makes me laugh about. I'm just going to say this. I think it's funny when people are like, "Go early in the morning to avoid the crowd," and then I always think to myself, "Well, if enough people know about this, won't that become the crowd?"
Yeah, But,
Sorry. I know.
This podcast isn't going to be the deciding factor of that for sure.
No, but it's just I always laugh at that. Like, there won't be a crowd if you go at this time. And it's like, well, gosh, if everyone took that advice. But then again, that people don't. But we did go early, and
I can't even remember what the queue looks like for that because we were going through it so fast because nobody was there. So
right. I remember we did have to start outside. Yes. And then they did let us in. I remember that, but it wasn't a big deal.
Nope.
Now we were there in late October, and I don't think that city ever like shuts down, or nobody really cares if it's winter or summer, or they just come whenever. So, but it's a good view. I mean, obviously, I don't even know.
So,
what are you, like 103 stories up?
Yes. So you go, you take an elevator ride. It's quick. It's like a minute. So you're moving pretty fast. And you go to the 103rd floor, and it kind of shows you the shorter buildings that you're passing as you're going up. So it's like at this, you're passing the height of the Statue of Liberty. You're passing the Great Pyramids in Egypt and this and that. And that's kind of fun.
That is fun
to see. It's like, oh my gosh, we're really going up there. And then you get to the top and the elevator door opens and you kind of go to the left and it's like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it was incredible. It's a great view.
Mm-hmm. Well, anything that's that high, it's going to be. So I think we need to talk about the skyboxes.
Yeah, so the skybox is on the south side of the tower. And it is a all glass box that sticks outside the tower.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fun. Like you can get into it and it looks like, I mean, you're standing on glass, but there's nothing below you.
Right.
Ooh, gosh.
Yeah.
I stepped about like a foot and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. Jacob,
you were
really
all
did.
in there smiling.
I got in there.
And I was like, oh my God, what if she falls?
No, but it's fun. And if you just look straight out, it's not really a problem.
No, and you can see Lake Michigan, which looks like an ocean. Sometimes you'll be able to see Michigan on the other side, but
yeah, I don't know. I like that skybox thing. I think it's really fun. And it's not an extra it's not an extra charge.
No,
I mean, you're up there and that's just part of the thing. You can choose to go in the skybox, you can choose not to. But unlike the Hancock Tower, it's not
a paid
thing. They have an experience up there as well, but it's not you have to pay extra for that.
Yeah. And we'll get to that later because we've done that too. So
this is just, we didn't do that experience, but we did. Yeah.
Yes.
But this thing is just included. You get up there, you can either choose to get in that box or not. So it's however you want to do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat. There's not just one box, there's many different boxes, but like one of them I think that was where you could pay, but you could pay to get your whole, if you want to get your whole group in there and then have a picture of all of you in it or doing whatever. Some people were jumping and they'd take a picture.
Yeah. So it's a really good view. You can see Monument Field. They've got you can see Wrigley, and they've got lots of diagrams that show, here's what this is. And it's really it gives you a good overview of kind of what you're going to be seeing in your trip. At least that's what we did So Willis Tower comes highly recommended from us. We really enjoyed it up there.
Right.
So let's head back down to ground level. And let's talk about this restaurant that's kind of close by on the Loop, and it's called Good Stuff.
Oh yeah, or Good, is it, or Good Eats?
Is it Good Stuff? I think I looked it up and it's called Good Stuff, but I'm pretty sure, but it may be
Oh my
called
gosh.
Good Eats.
I don't know. We should
I'm
probably
pretty
figure
sure
this
it's
out
good
before we
stuff. I
talk
think
about it.
well, Dad always says Good Eats, and then we're like, oh, we've got to go to Good Eats, and then it was like, oh, it's not actually called Good Eats, it's called Good
Oh.
Stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Oops.
that's okay.
Yeah.
So
We
this
stumbled across this on accident.
we did, and it's a burger place,
Uh-huh.
and
But it's
oh
so
my
good.
God, they have good burgers. And I'm not a huge fan of burgers, but
Yeah, I don't know why
oh, I
not.
could eat these all the time.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
just,
actually gonna
yeah.
have to Google this because this is bothering me.
Stay
Go
tuned
ahead,
for
keep
more
talking
on.
though.
Okay.
Keep talking. Oh,
Okay. Well,
we're yeah. Just I don't go ahead.
so I got a double there, and it's, it was just really good. I mean, I don't know
Mhm.
what more to say about it other than you got to go here. It's good. It's a little
Uh-huh.
pricey, but I think it's
It's
worth it
called
just because,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Good Stuff Eatery,
Okay.
22 South Wabash.
Yep.
Okay. So
Yep.
anyway, we stumbled across this just kind of wanting to find a burger or just a quick little something to eat.
Uh-huh.
And it's downtown in the Loop area. I mean, you're pretty much right under the L tracks. It's at a point. So we just stopped in there and was surprised by just how, well, I shouldn't be surprised because Chicago is just full of great food.
Yes.
But it was really, really good. And now we've ended up eating there like, I don't know, 3 or 4 different times. Like every time we've been to Chicago since then, we've eaten there, it seems like. It's just super tasty. So like a really fresh burger. It's just like basically a burger fry Coke place. I mean, they may have chicken sandwiches too, but just not a big menu, but just really yummy. So,
Yes.
and why, I don't know why I thought it was called Good Eats, but it's Good Stuff Eatery. So on Wabash, good, yummy.
Okay. So another good pizza place close by. Now, you're going to have to correct me if I'm wrong here, Mom. I think it's called Pisano's.
Yes, and that was another. I mean, there's Chicago, of course, is famous for its pizza. There's Gino's East, Giordano's. I guess like even um, what's the other one? Like Uno, I think it's like originated there and supposed to be really good there.
Mm-hmm.
But we were down. The last time we were in Chicago, we didn't want to go like the line at Giordano's and Gino's East, the downtown locations can just be crazy,
Yes.
So we were just like, where can we find? Is there another place? We looked. It was about a block over from our hotel, and it had a good rating, and there wasn't a line. But yeah, it was called Paisanos, and it was really really good.
Yes.
Another deep dish Chicago place.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but a good alternative eatery to not eating at one of the bigger named places. But this was just really really good. I keep saying that over and over.
Because it's
And
all
then
good.
right, and we had a deep dish, paisanos. I'm again googling this and keep talking because
Oh,
I
okay.
because I can't figure out if this is the one that I was looking
Eh,
at. It's spelled differently than I think. So go on.
So I really enjoy, but I love pizza, and it wasn't very crowded. It was just
Mhm.
good food,
Yeah.
and good Chicago pizza. So yeah, we really enjoyed, and I would definitely recommend going here.
Okay. This is the place that's spelled Pizanos.
Yes.
Pisano's Pizza and Pasta. The location we ate was 800 North Dearborn.
Yep.
So also a downtown location, um, and really, really tasty.
Yep. So heading east to Millennium Park, which every time we go to Chicago, we go here, isn't that right?
Yes.
So Millennium Park has a lot of different attractions. The Bean, first of all, which is actually called Cloud Gate.
Right.
But it's this giant mirror shaped and, well, in the shape of a bean.
Right.
And it's just really cool to see. And it's massive. You can stand under it and it reflects the skyline of Chicago. It's just cool.
Yeah. There's always a ton of people there, though.
Yes,
That's the one.
it's a very popular place, but
Right. And you always envision, oh, I'll get there and I'll take this picture and there won't be anybody else but me in it. Well, wrong.
yeah,
There's
good
always
luck doing that.
57,000 people in your picture. And then, but you can get some really cool shots of the city. Like you take a picture of the bean facing, like you're facing the lake, take a picture of the bean, but then in the picture is also the city behind you because it reflects off of it, which is really quite neat. But there's always a lot of people there. There's always all these fingerprints on it. It's kind of nasty as far as that goes. I always wonder if someone actually comes in there and cleans it.
I don't know.
I don't know, but anyway, it's a neat thing to see, I think. Yeah, but
Yeah,
there's
it
lots.
is.
Then there's that fountain with the faces on it. I don't know what you would call that.
I don't either, but it's like, so there's these big, tall, rectangular prisms and they project like faces on them, but it's like their mouths like blow out water.
Yes.
So it's like a hole, like where their mouth is, and it kind of blends in, and it like they kind of like they're gonna kiss or something like that, and it like spits out water. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's called the Crown Fountain.
Yeah, okay.
Art of Sculpture by Jean Plenza.
Okay.
So that's something else to look up. It's kind of weird. And then in the summer you could stand there and have somebody spit water on you and it would be like playing in a fountain of some sort, I guess. I don't know why you would want that, but
it's kind of cool and fun to see, and they light it all up at night.
It's kind of like two big TV screens.
Yeah. There's two of them, and they're across from each other, and it's kind of like a little pool.
In the center.
Yeah. I'll mention quickly, just across the street on Michigan Avenue is the Chicago Symphony, one of the best symphonies in the world. I love classical music. And if you do too, this is a great thing to do. We've seen them here in Kansas City. We went to a concert of theirs, but they're in that area across Michigan Avenue. So go check them out if you like that kind of stuff. Another thing is the Maggie Daley Park, which is further east of Millennium Park. And to get there, you go over Lakeshore Drive on this cool bridge. I mean, the bridge is an attraction onto itself. You remember that, Mom? It's that
I do.
windy,
of course,
that windy bridge. It's cool. So it's go ahead.
No, I'm Googling. Like, I feel like I'm super unprepared for this. You bring all this stuff up and then I'm like, this must have a name. I have to look it up.
The BP Bridge is what it's called.
Oh, okay. Like British Petroleum?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
But it kind of winds and you just walk along in the middle, and it's kind of like, I don't know, it's hard to describe. It's kind of like triangles on the side that kind of like the bridge just kind of, I don't know, inclines off. I don't know how to describe it, but it's really cool looking and an attraction unto itself. And that's across from the big outdoor kind of amphitheater area that they have there. And and on the other side, in that park, it's like there's all this climbing stuff and weird. Some of it we're not even sure what it is, but it's cool to look at.
Yeah.
And you can get closer to the lake from there if you want to go see that. Because, I mean, it does look like an ocean. Yes. If you didn't know it was an ocean, you would think it was. So Another attraction that we like in the area is the Chicago Art Museum. And that's just a cool place.
Yes.
So this is what we did was we did oh my gosh, I can't speak, a Ferris Bueller kind of thing where we visited all the sites that he went to on his day off in that awesome movie. So the art museum and Willis Tower, and so this is one of them, and they have some pretty famous pieces of art here. There's American Gothic, which, there's the old guy with a pitchfork and his wife and the house behind them. That's there, and that's a cool painting to see. There's the what's it called? The
Sunday
Sunday
afternoon on the Isle of Grand Jatte.
Yes, which is ginormous, and you look close. It's like Fry looking at it, Cameron looking at it, and all the little dots.
It is a pointillist painting. So when you look at it up close, it's just all these little points of color, little dots of color. But then when you stand far back, it all blends into one. And if you think you haven't seen it, you probably have. It's like all these people out for a Sunday stroll on this island. The ladies have like big bustles in their dresses, and like one person has like a monkey on a leash and all this. It's just, there's a lot to see. It's very, very large. And every time you look at it, you just see different things. That's probably one of their most famous pieces.
Yes.
And there's always a big crowd around it, and it's huge. There's the Chagall windows.
Yep.
Which are really cool. It's a giant building.
It is. It's massive. We've been there a few times and we haven't seen it all. And I'm pretty good with navigating buildings and just in general, but there are times where I'm like, where am I in here? So you can get lost in there. It's massive.
Yes, but it's really, there's just a lot of, and all different, an Asian art section, a
Greek.
What?
Like ancient Greek
stuff. Greek.
And
yes. Just, all just like any other big art museum, but it's there's a huge impressionist section. It's just a really, it's an impressive place. They have some good discounts there. As far as like if you're a student, they have things. It looks, to me, I always thought the prices look like this is kind of a hefty little adventure, but you want to go. But it ends up they really work with a lot of things, like if you're a teacher, if you're a student. They're also on some of those cards, like the Go Chicago card, where you can get many attractions at a discounted price. Some of these things are all on there. So it's a good place to check out, and it's right along the lakefront. Very nice.
We love the art museum. Another place further south, kind of near Grant Park, is the Buckingham Fountain, which is just this huge water fountain. It's not water fountain, but just fountain.
Just a fountain, right? It's so if you've ever watched Married with Children, the very beginning when it starts out, the fountain that they show is the Buckingham Fountain. So I think a lot of people would probably know that from there.
Yeah, and Grant Park, it's kind of close by. I just think it's kind of cool because that's where Obama got elected in 2008. There's the big party, and there's hundreds of thousands of people that were there. And it was just, an icon, whether you agree with them or not, it was an iconic moment in history because it was the first Black man ever elected to be president.
Chicago, so why not have a
he is from Chicago. So, that's kind of cool, just to think about that, that happened in that historic spot.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's talk about something that's kind of newer on the river. So, heading up north is the Chicago Architecture Center.
Mm-hmm. This
Now,
is a
I love
fantastic
this.
place.
This was
Yes.
awesome.
Yes. They used to have um, a smaller little place right along Michigan Avenue.
Across
And
from Millennium Park. Yeah.
we had been in there, and they had this really neat model of the city. So like all of the skyscrapers, I mean every single one of them is represented on this scale model,
And
basically.
it's huge.
Right. And so we had gone to this many years ago when it was in this small location.
Mhm.
However, within the last couple of years, they've moved to a new location right along the river.
On
Uh,
Wacker, I think.
I believe so. But then it's very impressive and another neat place to go. Another place that has student discounts, teacher discounts
Uh-huh.
to get in there. They also offer walking tours. Um,
And
however,
the boat tours, which we'll get to in a minute.
mhm. So
Yeah, this was just great. They had a skyscraper floor with
mhm,
models of different famous skyscrapers from around the
throughout the
world.
world,
And that was really cool to see. The
yes.
Burj Khalifa in Dubai, and Taipei 101, and all those twin towers in Malaysia with the bridge
Hmm.
across. I mean, just it was
The
really cool
Petronas
to
Tower.
see.
Yeah, so that's a neat place to. So you've got a great view of Chicago itself, but then just being like right along the river, a good location. Big, huge windows
Yeah,
that you can look from, but then within there, just a basic, basically a museum of different architecture. So
yeah,
pretty
of
fun to look
Chicago
at.
architecture, which is has there's a lot to talk about for
Hmm.
sure. And so that kind of leads into the Chicago River tours. And there's lots of companies that run it, so you just kind of got to pick your own. But we took one, and it was so cool.
Yeah, so they
So
have
you
these.
go ahead.
No, go. You're
So
fine.
you just kind of go on the river and you float. There's a tour guide that talks about all the different buildings along the river and their histories and their architectural designs, and it's fascinating. And you're just on the Chicago River going under all the bridges. It is awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
And it's a great way to just kind of relax and see the city. Well, just sitting down and, looking and being able to gaze, because you can't really do that on the streets. You're in the way.
Right.
So
Well,
this is
it's
kind of like a designated thing for that.
right. And you get a totally different perspective on the city. I mean, you're sitting obviously down lower than you would be on the street. You're down low in the water on the river.
Uh-huh.
And um, I mean, the tour is just talking. I'm thinking there are different types of tours, but the one we've been on is an architectural tour. So they just talk about,
There's some photogenic like for photographers to get different things, like they'll stop at different places that are good for photography and whatnot.
hmm
So, it kind of depends, but we took the architecture tour. I mean,
hmm
just it was really great. And the mixing of, the newer buildings and the older.
yes.
And I mean, even the office buildings are built up to have something special in
Hmm.
Chicago. They're not really just boxes, although some of them are, but, most of them have interesting features that you're like, oh, wow, that's really cool. And that you wouldn't really notice
hmm
if you were just walking in the streets. And they'll, I
Well, they'll
just
tell
love it.
different stories about, like, oh, you've seen this and like there's something from like a Transformers movie
Yeah. So yeah, Transformers sound really nerdy, but Transformers 3, when they attack Chicago, it's like, oh, I remember that building from that movie, and they
I've
mentioned
never
stuff
seen it.
like that. So
Yeah. So that's a fun thing to do. I've been on the architecture tour twice. The first time I went was a really, really cold day. Um, it's I honestly wouldn't recommend that again when it's super cold. I mean, it was miserable. And then you're on the water too. So um my friend and I, who we were on this, we just were in Chicago for a weekend, ended up sitting on the inside of the boat where you could still hear the man talking, but you just couldn't see as much, but it was miserably cold. So I would say this would be something more for a summer, even though
yeah.
they run them, in the cold weather, unless it's iced over. But it wasn't icy. It was just so miserable that we missed a lot. That's why I was glad we got to take another tour, like when I went with you guys,
Yeah.
that we did that again. But so architectural tour, I'm not really sure what company we used, although I know that both times I've been on this tour, I went on the same company and I know it was the same tour guide. I
Yeah.
mean, I just was like, I've heard this guy's little spiel before. I'm sure they all say the same thing, but he had a definite way of speaking, and it's interesting. And that's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, can we
So
talk about Portillo's now?
sure. Well, yeah, we can do that. Then we'll come back to Michigan Avenue.
Oh, sorry. I just want to talk about Portillo's and
All
let
right, go
everyone
ahead. Go
know
at it. You love
and let
Portillo's.
everyone know that Portillo's is the most fantastic place. It's so good.
Uh-huh.
Um, the thing, it's like a Chicago staple. It's wonderful. It's great. They have the best hot dogs ever. They have the best Italian beef ever. They have like a bazillion things on their menu. I don't know that I will ever know what any of these things are except for a hot dog or Italian beef, because those are my favorite things. Um, so there's Portillo's all over the Chicagoland area. My husband introduced them to me because he, is from Illinois. He went to school in Chicago, so he was familiar with the Portillo's out in Downers Grove, which is one of the suburbs. And then he'd been to some other ones too. But so there's one in downtown Chicago. There may be two now since we've last been there, but there's one on Ontario Street.
Yep.
And it is so delicious. So if you've never been, you either need to order a hot dog. And when I say a hot dog, you have to get like it with everything on it. And everything to them is a pickle spear, some oh my gosh, like now I'm so excited I can't even talk. They're so good. A pickle spear, some relish, onions, tomatoes, a couple of like jalapenos, or yeah, and then mustard and celery salt. So there's no ketchup on this hot dog. And Chicago people are like insane about that. They think that you cannot have ketchup on a hot dog. So it's great. Did you have one, Jacob?
Yeah, I've had a hot dog, but I didn't get everything on it.
I was gonna say Jacob will be like, got a hot dog with celery salt, which lame.
I don't remember what I got on it, but I didn't get everything.
Yeah. So, but the other thing is Italian beef, which is also amazing. So Portillo's does this like 3 different ways. So you can get it. So it's like this shredded. What are you laughing about?
I was just like, wow, I did not expect this. You're a Portillo's expert, and I mean, I should know this living with you, but
Okay.
this is great.
So Italian beef is like, I know, I've been waiting. That's all I really want to talk about today. So Italian beef is like this thinly sliced, kind of like a roast beef thing. But then you can get it with you can get it with peppers or without, and you can either pick sweet peppers or you can pick, so you can get them sweet or you can get them salty, or not salty, spicy. And it's that, the word, I can't even pronounce it. I don't, it's like giardinella or jar something is what this stuff is called. And it's like this relish that's made with kind of like jalapeno stuff. So you can get it that way. Then you can get it dry, or you can get it with gravy, or you can get it dipped. And so the dry is, it doesn't have any extra like gravy that's made from when you cook this meat. Or the with gravy, they just pour like a little bit on it. Dipped, I only got one time. I won't ever get it again. My husband loves it. He thinks it's so great. It's kind of gross because they take the whole sandwich and then they just like drench it in the, they just shove it in the gravy and then pull it back out. So you're eating like bread that's been dipped in gravy. And I mean, I'm really not against that, but it was just messy. It's hard to eat when your whole sandwich is wet. So I wouldn't recommend that. I'd recommend the with gravy though. One time I went to Portilos and for some reason I was like, oh, I think I just ordered it dry. And it was still fantastic, but it wasn't as good. So I would just recommend the middle of the road, which is with gravy, where they just kind of ladle it extra on. So you've got a little, or you could get it actually, I think you can even get it on the side, like an au jus kind of deal. So those two things are great. I guess they have really good hamburgers. I guess they have a really good salad. I don't know. I probably will never find out because I love these other things so much. They have good French fries. They have Coke products. Yay. What else? Oh, and then they also have these heart-shaped chocolate cakes, which are also good. So anyway, I love Portillo's. Go there if you can.
Well, that was great.
Another thing. Also, you can get it. You can order directly from them. They have this Portillo's home kitchen that you can order, and they deliver it to you, and then you can make your own, which is not as great, but they send you everything that you would need. So we've done like the hot dog party before, where they send you 10 hot dogs and they send you their special, the buns that they have, and they send you everything that you would need, and then even the order of assembly, and then they send you this little hat that you can wear while you're making them, like the people there who wear these hats. So it's always really crowded, but really it goes really quickly. So don't be turned off by the line, because there will be one, but they turn it around really fast. So yay, Portillo's.
And the Rainforest Cafe is nearby too.
Ew, no. Don't.
I'm just joking.
Yeah.
So let's talk, while we're on the food mood, let's talk about Giordano's.
Okay.
Which is, the more famous deep dish.
Yes. And it can be really good, or it can be not so good. We've had it both ways.
So the 3 times I've had it, like 2 of them were really good, but the one out by O'Hare that we had, I think I've eaten there twice, right?
Once it was good and once it wasn't.
And once it wasn't good, it was like, we came out and I'm like, I mean, it took us a while to admit, because we were just like, the hype was so,
yeah, the hype.
I mean, it's like, oh, we're gonna go eat there, but then we were kind of just looking at each other like, this really isn't good.
But that's okay. I mean, it isn't, but it also is, because places have, that Paisano's that we mentioned earlier was just as good.
Yes.
So, but then of course there's Giordano's downtown. There's a few of those. Jacob and I ate at the one time
Randolph.
right by Millennium Park. Millennium Park. It was good. I don't know. I guess it was just, it's probably really more hit than miss with those places. We just had a not so great experience at that one, but that was okay. It's not, yeah. I'm not,
I'd eat there again.
Oh yeah, me too. But yeah, or just eat at Portillo's.
All right, so moving on to the Magnificent Mile. also known as Michigan Avenue. This is where all the fun, expensive stores are. My brother loves the Nike store.
It is a really cool Nike store. It's like Nike Town.
Yes.
So, and yeah, they have the Nike Lab, so you could make your own Nikes there.
Yes, it's the big versions of everything, I would say.
Right. Any expensive store that you've ever heard of or thought about, it's kind of like a Rodeo Drive, but just in Chicago. So, yeah. But you know what? I'll tell you this. A lot of the same stores that are on Michigan Avenue are also on State Street. And it seems like on State Street, everything's just much more affordable.
Yeah, we like the big Target on State Street.
Yeah, the big Target on State Street is fun. But Michigan Avenue
Walgreens too.
Yeah, Michigan Avenue. Oh, there are the coolest Walgreens in Chicago.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's where their headquarters is in Deerfield, which is nearby. So they,
Right. I know, but I'm just saying, like a downtown Walgreens, beats the heck out of the little dumb Walgreens that we have in the, here by us. Like they'll have, a 2-story Walgreens with the escalator and a full-on restaurant inside, and I don't know.
Yeah, they've got there's that big one in Honolulu, but that's a story for another day.
Yeah, there's like a sushi bar in one of the downtown Honolulu, which is kind of funny.
It's kind of fun, but Michigan Avenue is just kind of fun to walk along, and we like the Water Tower Mall thing.
Right.
That's kind of fun. They've got a Lego store in there, which Legos are cool.
Right. The Water Tower place.
Yep.
So.
And that leads us to the tallest building on Michigan Avenue, which it's not called the John Hancock Building anymore. I don't even know what it's called. I think it's called its address now, but I'm going to call it the John Hancock Building because that's what it's been called pretty much the entire time that it's existed. And this is our other tall tower that we were talking about, and the other one we've been up into. So
now, this is the one that has I believe at the top it's called Chicago 360. And it's like, so this is something you'd pay extra for.
Oh, it's the tilt, the Chicago tilt.
Oh, okay.
The observation deck is called 360 Chicago. Oh, okay. And this other attraction within that you pay extra for is called the Chicago tilt.
Okay. So I'm so unprepared for this podcast.
You're okay.
But anyway, so here's what you do. You go into this tilt and you stand there, and then but you're in this glass little enclosure thing, and then
you
all of a sudden
hold on to these railings on the side of the windows.
Yeah, and we just know this from looking at it, but then the window itself tilts out. So imagine that you're standing in this little box thing, and all of a sudden it tilts out, and then you're suspended in this glass thing looking out. I guess. I don't even know if I explained that well. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of just like pulls you out. Like if I like held you on a rope and kind of like tilted you forward. It's kind of like that.
Yeah. So people are all into that, I guess, but I don't want to be.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
So we can't speak to how awful that is.
No.
But the views up there are awesome. It's more northern, so you can see, it's a different perspective than what you'd see at the Willis Tower. And it's cool. That was our first tower that we went up into.
Right.
So
and it's right next to Water Tower Place. So if some people who you are with don't want to go up there, they can just go shopping at the little Water Tower. Oh, back to Water Tower. I had a really good chai tea there, which is my favorite, like Starbucks type drink. But I went to this little thing there, and they asked me if I wanted a sprinkle of cayenne pepper in my tea, and I thought, well, no, but okay. Well, I didn't want no, but I was just like, well, I would never have thought that I would put cayenne in a latte. But let me tell you something, people, it's real good. So Yeah, just another little tip. Can you tell I like to eat and things like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the first time I've ever had cayenne in a drink, and it was tasty. Okay.
Okay, so heading north, this is kind of something that is a short little trip, but if you go on the red line and head to Addison stop is where Wrigley Field is.
Mhm.
And you can get off and just kind of walk around the stadium a little bit. It's where the Chicago Cubs play. And
Mhm.
it's really old and it's a historic stadium. It's kind of just cool to see. I mean,
Yeah.
and
So we did.
the capacity is not that high, so there's these restaurants that have like seats on the top of them that look into the stadium. And
Yeah. So we did that the day that Jacob and I did all the Ferris Bueller things because, they go to a Cubs game during that. So we just, I mean, we didn't have Cubs tickets. It was October, but
yeah,
we did that. And then another time we went to a White Sox game another time too, which
yeah,
was really kind of fun.
yeah,
So,
but
um,
don't go to that area unless you're going to a game.
oh yeah, that was kind of a little sketchy
Yeah,
for
it's kind of in a
our little
sketchy
family.
area, so I wouldn't go down to that field unless you're just going to a game, so just keep that in mind.
Right. But I'm sure I mean, it was fine on game day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that kind of wraps it up. Um, Now, I want you guys to keep in mind that this has been over multiple trips, and
Yeah.
there are still things that we have not done. There's,
No,
the Field Museum, the Shed Aquarium.
right. It's
So
yeah, there's some
you can
big
spend some
deal things
time
that
here.
we haven't been to.
I know. So,
Yeah.
I mean, some of it we have been to and some of it we haven't been to, and we're sorry if we didn't mention your favorite place, but
Right.
you know, we're not going to speak to it if we haven't been there, but there are lots of things to do here. And this,
Mhm.
like I said, we've done over multiple trips. And, it's usually been, fly in or fly out the next day or come in and leave the next day. So if and that's good for like a weekend thing.
Mhm.
And you can keep going back and see different things. And I'd also like to mention that a lot of these places charge admission, but you can get a reduced price if you go to this tourism website and you want to say go to the Field Museum and you want to do Willis Tower, the skybox and a couple of other things, and you can book it in a package to
Mhm.
where you're paying less.
Right.
So
So,
that's a
we've
that's a
always
good thing to keep in mind if you want to do something like that. If you're eligible, if you're doing enough things to do that.
right, because we've always been like, "Oh, we should get that," and then, "No, we wouldn't get our money's worth," or we would be spending less money just doing the things that we're gonna do. So that's another thing we've never done in Chicago is get one of those passes like a go-kart or anything. But, just because we kind of do our own thing. That's kind of how we operate anyway. We just pick our own things and do them,
Yeah.
um, as we want. But yeah, that's a good way to save money in Chicago. I think I don't know. I've always and so Portillo's is pretty much fast food and it's also fairly inexpensive. Like we've never spent a ton of money in Chicago, you know.
Hmm.
I mean, we've had a good time. I mean, I'm not saying it's cheap by any means, but it's never been a really draining trip. You can find a lot of good deals, and we've always had a really good time there. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So, I mean, that's Chicago for you. We love
yay.
it.
Uh
We
huh.
encourage you to go there and see it. It's awesome.
It is.
And they've got many unique experiences. So,
they do.
and this is kind of
They,
fun because we've been talking a lot about nature and things. So I thought we'd switch gears and talk about a city a little bit.
Yes. Right.
So that's it for us, everybody. And I'm going to remind you again, share this podcast with your friends, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Instagram, like on Facebook, follow on Twitter, and our blog. Take a look at our blog. We've got articles about Chicago and all hotel reviews, and you're going to get a lot of helpful information there. And rate us on Apple Podcasts. That helps get the word out, and we really appreciate you watching.
Listening.
Yes, listening. I always say that.
I know you do, and no one,
And nobody knows.
Okay.
And I just want to mention, we've got some national park birthdays. It was Bryce Canyon's birthday, and then there's Acadia and Grand Canyon and Grand Teton.
Acadia, that's another place I want to go.
There you go. So, happy anniversary to those parks, and have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Yes. Goodbye.
Bye.